Welcome to Cruise Kibitz, where we give you all the advice that you didn't ask for.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cruise Kibitz. My name is Charvon, and I am from Parker's on the Go.
And my name is Keke, and I'm from Team Reese Travels.
And I am Cheryl, also known as Sig Cruiser.
And together we are Cruise Kibitz. So today we have another episode for you guys, and I think this one will kind of give you the grumblies in your tummy. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the fact of going on a cruise vacation and you're there for the food. Can bad food ruin your cruise? What do you ladies think? Sig, let's start with you.
Oh, you're going to start with me?
Yeah, you especially. You know what? No, we're going to save you. We're going to save you.
Okay.
Kiki, let's start with you.
So, can bad food ruin your cruise?
Yes.
So that's a hard question because I feel like bad food can really make any vacation disappointing. But to go as far as to say ruin it, I think ruin is a pretty big word. And there's not too many things that can absolutely ruin me being on the ship. So I don't know. I think maybe we need to discuss it a little bit more.
Okay. Well, I'm still going to hold Sig off because I feel like she could go a completely different direction. But I'll play the middle ground here. Let's say we're on a smaller ship and there's only one or two places to eat. And none of those places offer a great variety of food. And maybe you have your boarding day and a sea day, and maybe one more day before you get to port. If the food is not great, how could that make it an exciting cruise? Because you're going to be hungry. You may get off the ship and want to spend all your money. Trying to make sure you find good food. And the whole purpose of being on a cruise is to have an all-inclusive experience and to try different foods and different cultures. What do you think? What do you think, Cheryl? What do you think?
I would say, okay, so I haven't been gluten-free all my life. So I did have a couple of cruise experiences where I wasn't gluten-free. And I will tell you, one of the things that hypes you or gets you excited about a cruise is cruise food.
Yes.
You know, in the hopes, that it's going to be the best thing ever, in the hopes that it's going to be, things that you've never experienced before. So it's like food is an exciting part of cruising, and especially if you're cruising with friends and family. And then you're adding the food into it where you're trying something different. You're at a table discussing, food amongst other things. So food is a very big part, of cruising. So I can see where if you're not happy with what you have, if you're not happy with the offerings, if you're not happy with the seasonings, if you're not happy with the quality of the food, I can see it having an effect on your cruise. And I'm not even getting into the gluten aspect. I'll talk about that later.
Well, the reason why I bring this up as a topic, because we were watching our dear friend Rick Quell from MH Family Adventure, and they were on a smaller ship. And I won't say the name of the ship, but if you watch them, then you know. If you don't, go watch them. And she was on the cruise with her children, and it was a smaller ship, and she was just not having a great food experience. So not just for yourself, but also if you have little ones and they're picky eaters.
Yeah.
And even the things they're picky about just isn't good. Like, I feel like it could kind of make it harder because not only are you not having a great food experience, then you're kind of hungry too. So the worst thing to do is be stranded at sea on a ship that you can't get off of and hungry.
Yes.
Hangry is entirely different when you can't even get nothing.
Yes. You don't even have an option to try something else.
Yeah.
So have you experienced anything like that while cruising with RJ, where he just didn't like anything that he had, or just had a bad food experience?
I have. So, on one of the smaller ships that we've sailed on, there was one cruise that the food options were just not great. The specialty dining was limited for one, but one of RJ's favorite things is breakfast. And we always go, well, not always, but a lot of times we go to the buffet for breakfast. And this buffet's breakfast was horrible, just bad. Nothing tasted good. The things that he really liked were like pancakes. They was rock hard. The bacon was like just laying on the pan, it laying in grease. It was just not a good breakfast buffet. Now we were able to, supplement the rest of the week because we had a sea day, so we were able to go to sea day brunch, and then we had, their sit down breakfast available as well. So that was an issue on that cruise. But again, did it ruin the cruise? Not really, because we did have other options. It just wasn't the option that we usually prefer for breakfast, but it still worked out, and we still had a fun cruise. It didn't ruin anything, but yeah, I would say that sailing it was limited. Yep.
Usually breakfast is a hard thing to mess up, but
it is, right? Like it ain't that hard. You just flip the pancakes, put a little eggs up, and throw a little bacon up. Like it ain't that hard. But they had a hard time.
yeah, it generally is hard to mess up breakfast, and I'm I kind of feel RJ on that one because I think breakfast is my favorite meal too. That's probably the only meal I wake up on time for. Breakfast. So I completely understand if you're having a hard time with that, how it can roll over to the rest of your day, and and like you said, it is hard to try to have food ruin your cruise, but at the same time it's like it is an instrumental part. So as far as like for you, Cheryl, I know you do have some allergy challenges as far as cruising is concerned. Have you, I know you said before that you've always been able to find something to eat, but has there always been great things to eat?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think now today more cruise lines are conscious about food allergies in general. So I think we can always find something to eat. So we're not going to go on a cruise and starve. However, that's not enough because yes, I can always go on any cruise ship and have steak, grilled chicken, and fish, which I have at home. But when I go on a cruise, I want something different. I want something that I can't get at home. I want, something that, well, like I said, something that I can't experience. So I know I'm not going to starve, but there are cases when the options are just so limiting. I don't know if you guys remember when we were on, I don't know if you sensed my attitude when we were on Wonder of the Seas. And that night that I went back to Sorrento's and the line was just so long. Sorrento's gluten-free pizza was good, but I was sleepy. And so I went the second night and they told me, because the first time, they let me bypass the line just to order my pizza. In ordering the pizza, it's still going to take another 15, 20 minutes. So I can order the pizza, get back in line. By the time I get up to the line, it still might not be ready.
Right.
The line was so long, he was like, no, you got to stand in line. And then I would have to get up to the line, up to the register, and then order, and then wait again for another 30 minutes. So I was like, wow. I can't do that. So I went hunting around for something else to eat, and all I found was that little sandwich. Sandwich that I had for lunch, and I was mad. I don't know if you guys could tell I was mad. And you guys were sitting at a table, and I brought the sandwich back, and I just put it down on the table, and I just left.
You were like, I didn't remember that. I remember. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys knew. I was hot. I was mad because I couldn't find anything else to eat right there. Now I can't say that there wasn't anything else available on the ship. It was just like right in that area. And of course, we were on the Wonder Sea for like 3 days.
Right.
So that was a short amount of time to actually find out everything that they had, gluten-free. So I'm not going to really, put the ship down for their offerings because I don't think I had enough time to explore. But I mean, that did. I mean, that changed my mood.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't find anything, to eat, that was satisfactory to me. So it did have an effect. I can't say my whole cruise was ruined.
Right.
But at that moment, I was upset. I wasn't feeling happy. And that's why I left the table because I didn't want you to bring you guys down, but I was frustrated.
And see, that it's kind of ridiculous that they did it that way too, because that would have been a very easy accommodation for you to just let you order the food. And it's not like you're gonna get it before all the rest of the people that are in line, but just put the order in so that by the time I wait 20 minutes, maybe I'll be a little bit closer to getting my food.
Yeah, that I couldn't understand. I'm like, well, just let me order. I'll stand in line. That's not the problem. But let me go ahead and put the order in so that by the time I get up to the front of the line, maybe it might be ready, but it's probably not going to be ready.
Right.
But I'll have to still wait another, few minutes for it. But yeah, so that was a little frustrating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, I think we sat down and we were having a conversation, Brandon and I, when we were on Disney. And he was just saying how sometimes it's just hard to get cruise food right. And I was saying to him, and I don't know why in that moment, it just, all these cruises we've been on, in that one moment, it all clicked for me. Well, they have so many people to cook for, they can't just season it for individual tastes. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I never thought about that. Well, I was like, I hadn't either. I just said it. But it makes sense that you have so many people that you have to accommodate. And my gosh, hats off to the chefs of these cruise ships, because you have to take everybody's situations in hand. Some people might have high blood pressure. Some people may be diabetic. Some people may can't be allergic to some things. And you have to cook for all these different types of people. And, it's simple things that we can do to accommodate ourselves. We bring seasoning on cruises, and it's like people think they brought seasoning, but we like our food to taste a certain way. We like seasoning, and we know they can't season for everyone. So that's just an accommodation we made for ourselves to try to help them out a little bit, so it won't ruin it too much. Because we've all been on cruises where we're like, the food just needs a little something, and you just can't. Salt and pepper ain't gonna do it. So yeah, that's something that we have done to accommodate ourselves. Do you guys do anything special as far as bringing anything extra with you when you cruise to kind of help accommodate yourselves as far as the food is concerned?
Well, I'll say for me, usually when I taste cruise food and I find that, hey, it needs a little bit of salt. Actually, that's the one thing that does not bother me, because I do understand it coming from a family, with a history of hypertension. You need to monitor salt. And then I'm like, well, salt is just such an easy thing, to add. You got salt at the table, or you can just add that at your own, level, or the amount that suits your own taste.
Right.
So I'm never really bothered when I feel like the salt, the food needs more salt and pepper. I really don't go much beyond that as far as, needing additional seasoning. I'm just happy if I can have a nicely, toasted slice of bread. I'm happy.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll echo that. I don't really take any additional seasonings or anything either. And I do understand that there are limitations to what they can do with seasoning because of different people's dietary restrictions. And I honestly, the way I eat on a cruise, like, I know I'm gonna be eating again in a couple of hours anyway. So if I can't finish this because it just don't taste that well to me, I know it's another meal coming soon. So like, if I don't like it, I don't eat it. I move on. Like, I don't really feel like I have to really accommodate for it too much.
Yeah. I know it was a big thing when we first started cruising, and we would look on the cruise groups and, just listen to other bloggers, and they would be like, well, we bring our own coffee creamer. And I was like, that's a lot. Or, you can go to this store and you can buy the Tony's Creole seasoning. And I was like, that's a lot. Why would I do that? And then, because we have a special seasoning we like, but it's not it doesn't have salt in it. So we kind of try to bring that because we cook with that a lot at home, and then it does usually turn our food around. So I understand why some people would. I understand why people are more in tune to bring their own. Just because you are, like I said, they are trying to accommodate a ship full of people and take care of them as far as their dietary needs, and sometimes you may get something that just isn't good. And like you lady said, would I pout about it and run off and be upset my whole cruise because my pork chop didn't taste just the way I like it? No. I'm not going to. And I remember there's been plenty of times I've even heard Cheryl say, well, I ordered a lasagna, but it didn't look like a lasagna when I got it. And it's like, I'm not going to complain too much about my pork chop when she's getting a no lasagna. Right. She doesn't have a choice.
I feel like I really had an effect on you, Charvon.
You did. You really did. You have turned me around. Yeah. The silly thing is, like Destiny, my daughter, she has the egg allergy. And it would be times that I would just be like, hey, you want some eggs? She was like, Mom, I can't. You would think I would be more in tune with my own child than I am with you, but I'm so worried when I'm with you on a cruise that I'm just like, are they putting that in gluten? What, the pasta on the celebrity? I was so worried about it. I was like, let me mind my business. I am all business.
It's okay. I swear I thought you were going to jump over that counter. I'm like,
I'm scared looking. I'm like, he just dipping the pasta. I was like, now if he dipped that same pasta in that water, it's not gluten free no more. Is he going to dip it in the water?
I just want to make sure that you can't dip that pasta in that water.
Okay. And she was like, no, he got it from the bag because not the same pasta. I didn't make sure. But it's like you're conscious of. I think you're a little bit more conscious once you're around people enough to realize that this certain thing can ruin their not only their day but their life. So you're a little bit more conscious of it. You are more aware that maybe the food situation is not all as bad as some people make it out to be. I always bring up the story about the lady on the Wonder of the Seas who just couldn't get the eggs the way she wanted them. She wanted 5-star eggs in the Lido deck of a cruise ship. You're just not going to get it. But those 5-star eggs ruin my cruise? No.
Yeah.
I don't think they would.
And see, that's the thing, because just like you said, you wouldn't, act some kind of way just because your pork chop wasn't perfect. There are people who absolutely will act some kind of way because their items are not perfect to their liking. And it's ridiculous. But you see it a lot.
Yeah. And it's been plenty of times we've been on a ship and I'm just like, I've ordered something and it wasn't exactly the way I thought it could have been. I've ordered a steak medium and it came medium well. I'm not going to send that back because not only is it just me, this server has 50 other tables and he's been working 12 hours already today. I'm not going to upset him over a steak that was a little bit cooked more than what I needed it to be.
Right.
So yeah, it's things that not only could ruin your cruise, and sometimes it's not just the food, but also it's things that we have to consider too when we are cruising. So any thoughts about food on cruises that you ladies would like to bring up before we end this episode?
Yeah, just I believe I've said this before about other topics that we talked about, negative experiences that you can have on ships. Like, don't allow things to remove the fact that you are on vacation. You are somewhere that's not your job. You're not cleaning your house. You're not, there's a whole lot of other things that you could be doing that are nowhere near as enjoyable as being on a cruise. And if you keep that positive mindset, no matter what is happening, no matter what the food is, or no matter, what's going on the ship, just try to remember that, this can be way worse. I'm on a ship right now.
Yes.
Just, keep that in mind.
Cheryl, how about you?
Yeah, so I would say, of course, I'm coming from the gluten-free, the food allergy perspective. for my fellow cruisers in the buffet.
Oh boy.
I think people with food allergies, they probably fear other cruisers more than they do the cruise ship employees, because when you're in the buffet and you're taking tongs and you're using tongs across menus or across food items, one may be gluten-free, one may be not, one may be nut-free. A nut-free or allergen, well, you know what I'm trying to say, nut-free dish, where the next one may be, and you're using those same tongs or spoon or whatever, and somebody else comes later and who has that allergy. Well, I mean, it's kind of, sometimes it's kind of hard to fathom how much of a particular ingredient it takes to make a person sick. But for gluten allergy, it could take less than like a crumb to make a person feel absolutely sick. And I would imagine the same for, a shrimp allergy, a food allergy, or anything like, that. So I would say, just be careful if you're in the buffet. Use that tongue or the spoon for just that item.
Yes.
And that's it. I think, like I said, I just think, we worry more about our other cruisers rather than, the chefs or the cruise line employees. So
that's an awesome tip. You know it and you're aware of it, but also to hear it from someone who it could negatively affect is very hard hitting, I think. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. Well, ladies, this was a fast 20 minutes, I would say.
wow.
That happened real fast. So thank you, ladies, for having this discussion with me. I very much appreciate you both for being here today. Keke, if you want to tell them where they can find Cruise Kibitz.
Sure. So you can find us on Instagram at Cruise Kibitz, or our individual Instagram pages. That's Team Reese Travels, Parkers on the Go, or Sick Cruiser. Please reach out if you have questions, you have, things that you are wondering about cruising, need advice. Please reach out to us on any of those platforms. You can also reach us at our Gmail, which is cruisekibitz@gmail.com. That's cruise, KIBITZ, @gmail.com.
All right. So, Cheryl, what do you say?
I think we should call this a podcast.
I think so too. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on next episode. And happy cruising.
Happy cruising.
Happy cruising.
Bye.